Sometimes there are some things on this earth that are too evil to even talk about. Why, if they say if it's a living thing and it's got ears and hears its name called, that it might just come a-running, for it's so evil it wants to see what people wants with it. And that's what I'm going to tell you all about tonight. A thing that is so evil and it's kind of, I want you to think of a little critter about this big that's kind of a wild dog on the back side and a wild hog on the front side with these big old pointy ears and this little green slithery tongue like a snake. And well, when you got a wild dog on the back and a wild hog on the front, you got a wog. Anyway, this old wog's job is to get rid of the wicked children of the earth. Now, I don't mean children that don't want to eat their vegetables or children that want to stay up past their bedtime. I'm talking about children that are evil. I'm talking about wicked children. And you know, there's two of them around here just like that. The Potter's Mill boys, Gerald and Jerome, twins they were. Now, these boys are so mean that, well, once they went and tied the shoelaces of the Widow Williamson to the rocker of her chair. So when that old lady stood up, she went a-rocking back and forth and went head over tea kettle right off the front porch. And all the while, them boys just a-laughing. Why, once they set the outhouse on fire and kicked it over with their daddy in it, laughing all the while they were. When them boys was first born, everybody said their mama was twice blessed. By the time they was about 6 or 7, the town was saying their mama was twice cursed. While these boys is so mean that if the devil had got a hold of them, he'd have just thrown his hands up and headed for Hades. Anyway, the boys had heard of the wog, and they know that it'd be around there trying to get them. So they went a-planning and plotting to get the wog back before it got to him, because you see, there's a little bit of difference between being smart and being smart-alecky. Anyway, first night they was in their bed, they had this civet cat, because they had heard tales of the wog being nearby. Now, if you hold the tail of a civet cat up like that, it can't spray you. A civet cat's being like a skunk for you people in the city. Anyway, there's a snuggle up in their bed, that old civet cat there, and sure enough, here come the snorkeling and the snuffling around, and that tongue come a-creeping in underneath the door jamb like that, and it got up there, and old Jerome just held that cat out there like that, and all of a sudden, that tongue rocked around it and sucked that thing right back through the door. Well, there's such a commotion outside, you wouldn't believe it, and when that cat sprayed, the wog went a-running off with its eyes a-burning, and a smell that was none too pleasant, I'm here to tell you. The boys knowed that thing would be back the next night, and they was ready for it the second time. Sure enough, here it come, that kind of grunting and groaning out there, and that tongue come a-slithering through the chinks in the log of their log cabin. Old Gerald just reached over there at the tongs in the fireplace and took a big old coal and dropped it right up on that tongue, and it wropped up on it, sucked it right through that chink, and Lord, there's such a scream out there, you wouldn't know what to make of it. That's when the old wog went a-running off to the river to soak its tongue. Well, the next night, them boys knowed they was in real trouble, and they was going to have to do something serious. So there they was laying in their bed. And they heard that snorkeling and snuffling outside, and that tongue come a-creeping in up next to the shutters of their window. And that's when old Jerome kind of grabbed that tongue and wrapped it around the bedpost so it couldn't move. And Gerald run outside with a gunny sack and scooped it up on the back like that. And then old Gerald let go of that tongue, and it went snap like a rubber band right back through that door jamb, that shutter thing there. And I want you to know that wog was in a bag, and them boys tied it up and threw it over their shoulder like they was going to take it to the river and drown it. Well, they hadn't tied that bag too good, they hadn't. And that tongue come a-slithering and a-slickering out and whatnot, and wrapped around old Gerald's arm and started pulling on him. And well, that's when Jerome opened up that bag to smack it, and it jumped out there and bit him. And well, Lord, that's in a sight of trouble, and I started screaming, "Mom, or Mama, come help us!" And that's when this commotion come from back their cabin. That door busts open, and their mama come running out there with that her favorite chicken-killing hatchet, and she went to chopping on that wog and chopped its tongue right off. That old wog went running off in the woods, and the tongue slithering right there after it. And them boys just laughing all the while until they stopped and looked at the meanness in their mama's eyes, and she give them a whooping that them two boys never did forget. Now, I'm here to tell you them two boys learned something that night. They learned 3 things. They learned, number 1, their mama loved them. They learned, number 2, that their mama would do anything she could to protect them. And she learned, number 3, that if their mama's mean enough to get rid of the wog, well, maybe they just better settle their lives down, for maybe she'd be mean enough to do something to them, too. Well, if you're walking around here tonight and you see something green and slithering through the woods, don't worry none about it. It ain't no snake. It's probably just that wog's tongue looking to get back in there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.